Ever feel torn between sounding natural and sounding professional? Like you want to be authentic, but you also don't want to ramble or forget what to say? Well, that's surprisingly where scripting and using an autocue or teleprompter can actually free you up, not box you in. Today, I'll show you why, when, and how to use an autocue or teleprompter effectively, so you can sound confident, natural, and on point. And why I'm talking about this is because my name is Stefan Erdmann, and over the years of making over 600 YouTube videos on my other channel, I've experimented with scripted autocue and more outline free speaking approaches, and I've been working with hundreds of personal clients, and in that process I've learned that everybody is unique and different. So there are no right or wrong answers whether you go scripted or free. And by the way, let me know in the comments whether you think I'm using autocue in this video or not. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using an autocue? Why should you use an autocue? And, well, frankly, how do you stop it from making you sound like a robot? Let's break it down. The first key advantage is precision and clarity, of course. When you script, you can craft your message word for word. No missed points, no awkward tangents. And frankly, that's perfect when your video needs to be sharp and persuasive. The second advantage, confidence and focus. You're not worried about what to say next, so you can focus on how you say it, your tone, your body language, your presence. And the good news is, research actually shows that using a teleprompter reduces mental load. It frees up your brain to focus on delivery instead of memory. So you actually can come across more confident as long as you keep your body and voice natural. And the third big advantage, of course, speed. Once your script is ready, you can record in fewer takes. No more 20 attempts to get it right while you're rambling along. But of course, there are downsides too. The first and biggest one for a lot of people, sounding stiff and robotic. And if you write for print and then read it word for word, you'll sound at best boring and at worst like a machine, right? The implication being that you don't know what you're talking about if you had to say it by yourself. So using autocue is definitely a skill that is not natural and it needs to be learned. The second challenge that can happen with autocue is that you get weird eye movements. If you're not used to using an autocue, your eyes can sort of go from left to right, and that breaks trust and really ruins your credibility. And that really has to do with having the right autocue, but also how you manage your reading. And the third one is the setup. Formatting the script, getting the right scroll speed. It can take a lot of tweaking and it can be frustrating. All right, so we have the advantages and disadvantages, but how do you actually do it right? How do you avoid the drawbacks and you play to the actual teleprompter strengths? First of all, the most important thing, write for speech, not for print. And a lot of people make this mistake. They write a script as they would write a blog article, not a video script. It needs to be spoken. So it needs to be easy to speak. So use short sentences, use contractions like you or it's, and read it out loud as you write, ideally. If it sounds weird when spoken, change it. And if you can't actually say it without stumbling, it's definitely too complicated. Simplify. Use spoken language all the way through. The second key thing, even though you have a teleprompter, rehearse. Rehearse for getting into the rhythm. Don't memorize it, obviously, but also don't completely start it blind. Run it a few times to get used to it. Mark little pauses or moments when to smile or react in some other way. And when you hit record, talk through the script, not to the script. And don't end up sounding like you're reading. So in a way, using autocue or teleprompter is actually more of an acting performance than if you didn't and you just thought out loud. And a great tip for actually avoiding this left to right eye movement that you often see when people do autocue, you want to practice. So you know more or less what you're saying without actually having to read every word. And you also want to have moments when you look away as if you're thinking. When we talk about something, we usually have images in our minds. So when you stand through the camera non-stop, it doesn't look great. That's why people then realize you're just reading. And even more important is to get the scroll speed right. Not too fast, so you're rushing. Not too slow, so you have to artificially slow down. And it's a process that's really testing step by step. And then locking it in when you feel you've got the right speed. That gives you that flexibility, but also gets you moving forward. There are many other things here that help, but these 3 things are probably the most important for beginners. So when would I recommend you use an autocue? Long explainer videos, sales or product videos, definitely, moments when every word matters, but also simply when you have practiced it and you found it to be really effective and efficient in making videos. It's okay to have a preference, but my favorite way sometimes, I have to say, is mixing it up. I often script my opening and my call to action, and then I speak more freely in the middle. To me, that can be the best of both worlds. So you can actually blend the two. But interestingly enough, although I made a lot of videos speaking freely with a structure, the video that did the best with millions and millions of views was written with autocue, and I delivered it with Teleprompter. So, goes to show, precision can work. So if you've never tried a teleprompter, give it a go. Script your next short video, use a free teleprompter app on your phone, try it out and practice it and notice how much smoother it could feel. And if you're curious about the opposite approach, speaking freely from a structure, the pros and cons of that, and how to best do it, then make sure you subscribe and come back for my next video, where I'll talk about how you can sound relaxed, natural, and confident without reading a single line.